This is the ongoing history of protest songs. Clap your hands and sing along. So this is CJ Baker. And as anyone who's watched any of my videos know, I have a website, ongoing history of protest songs.com. And on the website, not only do I talk about like the past history of protest music, but I highlight the fact that the history is ongoing, that there's still new protest music being made. And in connection with that, every month I spotlight notable protest music that was released. So notable songs, videos, and albums. So I decided that I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm also going to do a video recap. So on the website, there's going to be a few more, like the article on the website, there's going to be a few more songs and a few more albums mentioned, just because time won't allow me to mention them all. But we're just going to focus on a few highlights in this video. And of course, January was, in many different ways, a chaotic month. And of course, what was happening in Minneapolis dominated the news cycle. But it is good to know that that's not the only thing that was being protested. Like you still got Palestine, and then also when we think of protest music, there's also the international factor. So the songs and the albums that we're going to highlight here are also going to cover a broad scope. So a broad scope of topics, but also in terms of genre as well. So even though a lot of it's going to be affected by what's going on in Minneapolis, it's going to expand beyond that as well. So we'll get right into the video. So I'm going to begin by discussing a usual suspect, Jesse Wells. And the first song I'm going to discuss was technically released on December 30th. So it was actually released towards the end of 2025, but I thought it was worth mentioning. So the song is titled Mask Off. So not only does it feature his usual satirical wit, but some of the lyrics are pretty stream of conscious as well. And really, the lyrics expose how Trump and his administration don't even try to hide the corruption anymore. So they're actually at times are even saying the quiet part out loud. And I just want to share just one portion of the lyrics. So this is the opening lyrics to the song. So it goes, I can't tell you what's worse. The message was terse, outright white supremacists or America first. I think they both sell merch. The whole place seems a little bit cursed. It's like somebody might have been living here first. So
incels and sellers from a long line of failures underneath rumble umbrellas, daily wiring with the fellas, chrome mag, hate cave dwellers. The tale is older than the tellers. The tale is older than old Yeller.
just an example of the lyrical flow of this particular song. So definitely features his usual satirical wit there, but a little bit more of a stream of conscious poetic flow than some of his songs. And another song he released, which I won't get into too much detail because I discussed this in a previous video, but he also released the song Good versus Ice, which he released a day after the tragic murder of Renee Good in Minneapolis. So that was an immediate response. Of course, that's part of what he's known for. When a tragic news event happens, he quite often is pretty quick to write a song. And individuals like myself that are fans are quite often, we keep checking to see if he's written a song yet. So, like I said, I did feature that in my video of songs, like anti-ice songs in response to the murder of Renee Good. I also recorded a video on protest songs in response to the murder of Alex Preddy, who was also murdered in Minneapolis. And I did mention in the video that at the point that I recorded that video, Jesse Wells has not written a song about it, and he still hasn't. And that's something I discuss in that video, so you can feel free to watch that video as well. That obviously, there's no way of me knowing like the thoughts that go through Jesse Wells' head. So obviously, I can't process that. But I do think, and something I talked about in the video, that at times it potentially like the expectation of always being expected to write an immediate response every time there's a major news event, I can see where that could be overwhelming. So I think it is reasonable, and I think I guess instead of reasonable, I'd say it's unreasonable and unrealistic to think that every time there's a major news event, that Jesse Well has to write a song, and he always has to have something to say about it. That being said, it's still possible at some point he is going to write a tune about it. But we're going to go to the next song, and this is another one that was written very early on in January. So the song is called The World You Built by Moonwalker. So this is the latest song by the alternative rocker. And he's someone that I talked about in a previous video as well, because I made a video of the top 25 protest songs of 2025. And his song, The List, which deals with, as the title would suggest, the Epstein list, was included among my top 25 songs. But he also released an album. So The List was a non album single. But his album, Is This the World You Wanted, was also an excellent kick ass rock album, which we covered a lot of political issues as well. So that made my list. Like I had an article on the website of the top 40 protest albums. So you can check that out as well. So I'm going to do a few shameless plugs, ongoing history of protestsongs.com. So this particular song deals with the disproportionate response to the murder of Charlie Kirk compared to the killing of school children. Like, for example, one of the lyrics is, and now they celebrate a life he didn't live because the one he really did won't fit their narrative. Crocodile tears when it's one of you, but only thoughts and prayers for the kids in school. So the incisive lyrics also analyze how right-wing media and politicians use the situation to read a false narrative and sow seeds of division. So that's highlighting the lyrics. And now the president calls for a civil war before he even knows who or what he's fighting for. And then the chorus also highlights that Kirk was a victim of a world that he helped build.
Just another victim of the world you built, of people you've infected with the hate you spit. Another new statistic as the blood gets spilled. You don't care if it happens, you just didn't think it.
So the next protest song, I would say this is probably a somewhat of an unexpected source for a protest song. So it's by Amy Grant, and the title of the song is the 6th of January, and in parenthesis, Yasgur's farm. So I actually stumbled upon this by accident. Like it showed up on my YouTube feed. So somehow the algorithms recommended it, which would be a weird recommendation because I don't think there's anything about my view in history that would immediately suggest someone like me would be into Amy Grant. But and I can actually see now why they would recommend it. Under normal circumstances, I see Amy Grant, I'd probably just ignore it. But the song title intrigued me. So the 6th of January. So a notable event happened on that date. And the song was released on the anniversary of that significant, notable event. But along with the 6th of January, also Yasgur's Farm in parenthesis, that also caught my attention because that was the site of Woodstock, so the original 1969 Woodstock. So as soon as I seen that, it's like, okay, January 6th, talking about the insurrection, and then connecting that to Woodstock, probably some kind of comment of how we've kind of ended up going astray from the ideals of Woodstock. And the song, and as far as what it was about and what it addressed, it kind of was what I anticipated. So yeah, I'm not necessarily, like I said, Amy Grant's not my type of thing. Like I don't know a huge amount about her, but I know when she started, she was a pretty successful contemporary Christian music artist. Then I know she's gone secular, and also one of my sisters, she really liked that song, like that secular song. I think it was called Baby Baby, and she had the cassette. I found the song annoying. So yeah, it's not necessarily my type of thing, but I did enjoy the song. The song was pleasant enough. And concerning the objective around the song, I'll just read the statement that Grant made here. So this is what she said. We operate in the world around us and sometimes neglect the power of what we have in our choices. The song observes life and the unrest many of us feel, while knowing we are shaping the world around us daily. Maybe life and problem solving is more of a we than me conversation. If we can choose to look through a lens other than our own, maybe there's hope to come together and find a way through the unrest. So yeah, like I said, the song, not really my cup of tea, but it was pleasant enough. And it does highlight that protest music can take many forms. So songs don't necessarily always have to be angry to make a significant point or argument. And also I was surprised when I posted the song, it actually became by far, because most days I feature a song called The Daily Dose of Protest. And this is by far is my most viewed song that I ever posted. So that did surprise me a bit. So I guess the song did resonate with a decent amount of individuals.
Going on. Marvin Gaye, is it right on red or left on MLK?
So the next song we're going to discuss is Bad News by Zach Bryan. I'm not necessarily going to spend a whole lot of time on it because I also discussed it in my Renee Good video. But there's an aspect of the song that I failed to mention, which I'm not even sure why, because this is something I should have been all over, because this is basically in my wheelhouse. But yeah, the as I mentioned in that video, he initially released a snippet of the song a few months ago, caused some controversy among his more conservative fan base due to some of the anti-ICE sentiments. So
Heard the cops came, cocky motherfuckers ain't paid. ICE is gonna come bust down your door. Tried to build a house, no one builds no more. But I got a telephone. The kids are all scared and all alone.
not this month, last month now. So in January, he released the official version of the tune as part of his new album with Heaven on Top. But another aspect of the lyrics that I forgot to highlight is the fact that it referenced Woody Guthrie's "This Land Is Your Land." So I thought that was a significant point, how it connects to a significant past protest song as well. And "This Land Is Your Land" is sometimes a song that's misunderstood a bit, partly because sometimes the more, can I say controversial, maybe not necessarily, yeah, maybe controversial, but some of the more politically more direct lyrics often get excluded from the song. So sometimes people think it's a bit more patriotic. But yeah, it's that kind of connection to that song is significant. Also, in connection with the fact that the song does deal with political division.
Land's your land. This land's mine too. Is this all true, man? Or is it just bad news?
So we'll go to our next song here. So the song's called Brown Representation by Reverie, Coyote, and Loudon. So Reverie, she's a rapper. Coyote's a rap duo. And then Loudon is the producer. And then all these artists happen to be Hispanic. So, which is suggested also with the title Brown Representation. So this hard-hitting, collaborative hip hop tune. It addresses racism against Hispanics, and it also addresses anti-immigration sentiments. But it also, and this is, I think, a key point as well, it addresses how the vilifying of immigrants is a ploy to distract from the fact that Trump is on the Epstein list. Maybe not even just the Epstein list, like the song just specifically mentions the Epstein list.
Distraction to cover up, we ain't buying. Release the files you promised us, you lying about that island. Shit is getting messy, Epstein's bestie. Cover up for pedophiles, that's nasty.
But vilifying the immigrants can also be a distraction to overlook the fact of that basically the elite don't really give a shit about anybody. They don't really give a shit about the citizens. But if we get angry at immigrants instead of getting angry at the elite in power, it serves their purpose. And there's also another key aspect to the lyrics. So one of the lyrics is, despite their narrative, I'm a Native American.
Their narrative, I'm a Native American, arrogant motherfucker that never cared about no president.
So that just kind of draws attention to the fact, because these are California-based artists. There are parts of California that was originally part of Mexico. So they're all Hispanic Americans that are basically, in a sense, all indigenous Americans, like they're native to that area. So I thought that was a key distinction. And also another key aspect of the lyrics is it really denounces the failure of the two-party system, and it really highlights the corruption on both sides of the aisle. So these particular artists, they don't really identify as Republican or Democrat. In their minds, both parties are corrupt and don't really represent the people that they claim to represent.
These fucking nerds are really groupies to the government. They all full of shit, fuck Democrats and Republicans.
So we'll go to our next song. So it's Minnesota Nazi by NoFX. So the veteran punk band, they were never one to shy away from speaking up on political issues. Like, for example, their 2003 anti-Bush album, War on Heroism, is even more relevant now. And that album was also an important precursor to the series of Rock Against Bush compilations organized by NoFX Fat Mike. But since then, the band has written and recorded a number of other political songs as well. So this latest anti-ICE protest song is actually a reworking of the band's 2022 tune, Huntington Beach Nazis. So concerning the song, Fat Mike stated, after all the recent heartbreaks in Minnesota, I decided to change some lyrics in the song and release it digitally. I even changed the title of the song to Minnesota Nazis. I reckon it's appropriate.
Has paid the highest price. Now that we'll never clean all the blood off the ice. America, why can't we all agree? It's okay to judge and have some hate for people if you base it on their ethics, not their ethnicity.
So the next song we're going to discuss is someone else who's no stranger to protest music. So it's Billy Bragg, and he released the song City of Heroes. So the veteran UK singer-songwriter and activist, he wrote this anti-ICE protest song as a response to what was happening in Minnesota. So Bragg, he made the following statement concerning the tune. The murder of Alex Preddy was horrifically shocking. All the more so as we are still reeling from the images of the murder of Renee Good. That these crimes could be committed in broad daylight on camera, and yet no one is held accountable, only adds to the injustice. I wrote this song yesterday as a tribute to the bravery of the people of Minneapolis, who, knowing that these trigger-happy ICE thugs operate with semen immunity in their midst, are still willing to put themselves in harm's way to defend their community. Their resistance is an inspiration to us all. So the next song we're going to discuss is Breaking News by the Neighborhood Kids. So this is the latest single from the politically charged hip-hop collective, who we view their music as an extension of its activism. So this hardened tune highlights different examples of police brutality, including the murder of citizens. So even though the examples cited in the lyrics involve direct racism, the song also resonates with the recent murder of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by ICE agents. Because the reality is anyone who speaks out against injustices could be considered a target of corrupt law enforcement.
Put your hands up. I'm at the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs.
Also, concerning the neighborhood kids, they are also a favorite band of Tom Morello. And in an interview with George Stropopoulos, Morello mentioned that the Neighborhood Kids was one of the bands, not only one of his favorite bands, but was one of the bands that we carried out the spirit of Rage Against the Machine. And I also featured the Neighborhood Kids in a video I previously made on 10 modern day protest artists that prove that protest music is not dead. And concerning that video, another artist I mentioned, and another artist that Tom Morello mentioned as carrying in the spirit of Rage Against the Machine is Kneecap. So they also released a new single, Lyle's Tale. So this latest hard-hitting punky tune from the provocative Irish hip-hop trio. This is the first single off their upcoming album, Fenian, which is due out April 24th. So the song, it's really a scathing indictment of UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. And it's also consistent with their well-publicized stance. So the song does express their unwavering support for Palestine. And that support has got them in trouble. Like one of the band members, Marshall, he was arrested in the UK for political views that were expressed during a concert. Fortunately, those charges were dropped and he's free now. But it does show kind of the attack on free speech as well. So yeah, this is the latest song by Kneecap. And the song definitely it's very punky and gritty. And even the album as a whole, they made this statement about the album. They mentioned it's a more sinister sound because these are sinister times, but also defiant and triumphant. And concerning the album's name, Finian, they mentioned that Finian were warriors in Irish folklore and later a derogatory term for the Irish. And then they mentioned now we're using it to name everyone speaking truth to power. And then I'll just read one last statement they make here. After 800 years of colonization, they thought the Irish language would die. It didn't. And then they also go on, and Kneecap is much the same. We haven't gone away. So yeah, this song is a banger, and I'm definitely looking forward to the release of the album as well. So the album's gonna drop on April 24th. So the next song we're gonna discuss, so of course this is a big one, Streets of Minneapolis by Bruce Springsteen. So in the video I made about Renee Good, I did show a clip of Bruce Springsteen speaking out against the murder and speaking out against ICE. So since then, he's wrote a song. And I even mentioned in the video, I wouldn't be surprised if he wrote a protest song. And sure enough, he did. And I do have an article on my website, another shameless blog, Ongoing History, protestsongs.com. I do have an article on a list of Bruce Springsteen protest songs. So considering this tune, Springsteen made the following statement. I wrote the song on Saturday, recorded it yesterday, and released it to you today in response to the state terror being visited on the city of Minneapolis. It's dedicated to the people of Minneapolis, all innocent immigrant neighbors, in memory of Alex Preddy and Renee Good. Stay free, Bruce Springsteen. And he did his first official live concert performance just a couple of days ago on January 30th. So it was part of a Tom Morello organized concert of solidarity and resistance to defend Minnesota, which took place at First Avenue in Minneapolis. So yeah, this is a very direct response to what was taking place there.
Democracy in this country will not be decided in the courts. It will not be decided in Congress. It will not be decided on social media. I believe that the future of democracy in this country will be decided right here on the streets of Minneapolis. Please welcome my good friend and fellow freedom fighter, Mr. Bruce Springsteen.
Were bloody footprints where mercy should have stood. Two dead left to die on snow-filled streets, Alex Pretty and Renee Good.
So those are a few songs, but I thought I'd mention a few albums as well. So a few notable album releases. So the first one is Peacelands by Morning Jacket or My Morning Jacket. So this is an Bandcamp exclusive album, which was released to show solidarity with the people of Minnesota. So I'm just going to read directly portions of the statement that he posted on Bandcamp. So this is what Jim James of My Morning Jacket posted. Peacelands is a word and concept created by visionary Louisville artist Mark Anthony Mulligan. An imaginary land of peace, friendship, and equality he created in his artwork. A place where folks listen to each other and find a way to get along in peace, friendship, and togetherness, despite their differences. I think about this word in Peacelands in our world all the time, especially in troubled times. And we believe that it's still possible for us to achieve Mark's vision of Peacelands, a world of love and friendship. If only we can learn to listen, love, and forgive in paths of peace, acceptance, and tolerance. We stand with the people of Minnesota and everywhere else affected by the horrors of ICE brutality and lack of human decency or transparency from this administration. There is room for everyone to be safe and free and at home in this vast world. And we need to find a new path together to safe and humane immigration policy and reform rooted in peace and love, safety and equality, and new systems of fairness, freedom, and transparent justice for all. And then he goes on to mention that all proceeds of the album is going to go to either the ACLU or Doctors Without Borders or Rescue.org. So organizations that either work on domestic or global efforts. So not only in connection with what's going on in Minneapolis, but he also mentions organizations working hard to help heal the horrors of war and terror around the globe. So the song, not the song, sorry, the album itself is mostly unreleased, acoustic, peaceful protest songs. So some covers and some are songs that Jim James wrote. So it is good to keep that in mind because I listened to it, I enjoyed the album, very pleasant. And I think anyone who's a fan of My Morning Jacket and is going to enjoy the album. But it could come across, like I said, as a collection of like a B-side demo collection of unreleased tunes, partly because it is. But it's a pleasant listen, and of course, the more important thing is the fact that it supports these organizations that are doing important outreach work.
And it really scares me. Love and mercy, that's what you need tonight. So love and mercy to you and your friends tonight. I was.
The next album we're going to discuss is World Gone Wrong by Lucinda Williams. So this is the latest album by the veteran roots rocker, and it really features a collection of timely, socially conscious songs that the press statement describes as a wake-up call and a battle cry, finding beauty, grit, and grace in a world on edge. So on the website, I previously featured the title track and featured the tune "We've Come Too Far to Turn Around," which features Noah Jones. There's also a number of notable guest appearances as well, including Mavis Staples. So the legendary Mavis Staples, who I've featured like on my video of the top 25 protest songs of 2025, her cover of Kevin Morby's Beautiful Strangers. I mean, it's really powerful. And if you don't feel something listening to that, I don't think you got a soul. And also, her 2025 album was one of my favorite protest albums of the year as well. So, yeah, Lucinda Williams, Word God Wrong, a notable release.
Dark days are getting long. Looking for comfort in a song. Everybody knows the world's gone wrong. Everybody knows the world's gone wrong.
So, the next album we're going to discuss is Slut Word by Slut Intent. So the latest album by the Minneapolis Feminist Punks. It was released on January 1st. So this was before a lot of the chaos that was taking place in their home city. And of course, prior to the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. But I do think this album by this feminist punk band, it really well expresses the justifiable rage that many were feeling during this current state of political chaos. And there's one lyric in particular I want to highlight. So the lyric is from the song Slut Internet. So this is the lyric. I think it's quite a powerful lyric. I wonder what keeps me alive in this hellish world where these greedy fucks gouge every ounce of value from every poor soul trying to survive. So yeah, that's quite the lyric. And part of the reason why the lyric stands out to me, we discussed it before, the whole thing about vilifying immigrants. And when we do that, and part of the reason why the political and financial and corporate elite want us to vilify immigrants and other marginalized groups is we don't focus on the damage that they're doing. So we lose focus of the fact that, as the lyrics mention, these greedy fucks are gouging us. And even if were to deport every last immigrant, these greedy fucks would still be gouging us. That wouldn't change. So yeah, we hearted an album, and that's a powerful song. So Slut Word by Slut Intent. And that song I highlighted was Slut Internet. So the next album we're going to talk about, which I guess is probably more of an EP, but I highly recommend it. It's Red Album Volume 2 by Corsi Blanton. So this is the second volume of the Red Album by the left-leaning, unapologetically political songwriter. And it's a collection of 8 protest songs. So the songs are the perfect blend of defiance, heart, and wit. So one of the songs was actually released in 2025, so Little Flame, and that was one of my favorite protest songs. So I did feature that in my best protest song video of 2025. But there are other songs too that we have a satirical, humorous wit to them, including one about Elon Musk, which also she released a humorous video for as well.
Elon Musk is a fuck of a man, just look at his rich kid face. Well, I'd like to make his dream come true and shoot him into outer space.
So we're now going to talk about the album Bloodline by Monrovia. So Monrovia, he takes his name from his birthplace, Monrovia, Libya. So the latest album by this singer-songwriter, and I'll probably describe the album kind of like Apachean folk, or at least I think that's how he describes it, either on Bandcamp or maybe Radio Music. But yeah, it's very much like a rootsy, folky album. But the latest album by him, it's heavily influenced by his experiences of being forced into being a child soldier during the Civil War. So he was adopted by an American family at 7 years of age. So the songs also deal with themes of identity, assimilation, and the challenges of a transracially adopted refugee. So it really does cover a lot of topics. And like I said, it deals with a lot of those themes that we discussed there, which does make it a compelling, emotionally powerful listening experience.
Can't find my bloodline. My name still ties my bloodline. Still, my bloodline.
So the next album we're going to discuss, and I actually love the album title. So the title of the album is In the Name of the Father, the Herman, and John Lennon. And the album's by Tamir Nafar. So this is the first English album by the veteran Palestinian, Palestinian, so he's from Palestine. So it's the first album by him in English. And then he made the following statement concerning why he decided to release the album, but he also mentions why he was also reluctant to release it. So it's the statement he made. At first, I stayed quiet, thinking about my family. So he says this referring to the dangers faced by Palestinian artists, particularly since October 7th, 2023. So he made this statement. He continues with his statement. Over time, I returned to releasing music, learning to navigate fear without letting it dictate my work. I gave fear space, listened to it, and used it to guide me rather than silence me. And he also goes on talking about how he's always dreamed of making an album in English. So he goes on to make this statement. But my Arabic career and the political battles I kept finding myself in kept pushing it further and further away. And now the time came for politics, generational trauma, all of it to come together in one album. Trauma, that's Palestinian, but also completely human.
Different preachers, some apartheid by different evils. And I'm still the same, yeah, Baba, still spitting as the realist. Still facing my oppressor while suppressing my own demons. Repressing that I'm grieving. My dad is gone, all I needed was to tell you that you need it. Working class hero, can you be him?
Yeah, so the last album we're going to discuss is Soplan, and it's a self-titled album. So this is a Peruvian power violence band. So basically, power violence, it's an extreme form of heavy metal, I think similar to like grindcore. And I'll be the first to admit, this is not necessarily my wheelhouse. Like I do like some heavy metal, but not really familiar with some of the more extreme subgenres. But I did want to highlight it for the fact, just to re-point out that part of the purpose of the website is to spotlight that protest music's not just one thing. So, for example, it's not a single songwriter strumming a acoustic guitar. It could be multiple things, including an extreme form of metal band from Peru. So the band's name, it's taken from the word for snitch, which is also in Peru a colloquial and derogatory way to refer to cops. So the band basically, and the album rages against political corruption and police brutality. So even though they may have had the native country Peru in mind, it resonates on an international level. And I get that this could be a challenge and listen to some, might not be for everyone's taste, but I do think it's effective in readdressing maybe the rage that individuals may have towards corruption. And the one thing I also appreciate about the album is most of the songs are pretty short. Like a number of them are just like 30 seconds blasts of aggression and righteous indignation. So I do think the album is effective with accomplishing what their objective is.
Soplón, 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 soplón.
So that concludes our list of notable songs and albums. So are you aware of any protest songs or albums that were released in January that I did not mention on the video? And like I mentioned, every month on my website, I do these recaps of notable releases, but it's the first time I've done a video. So if you want me to make this a regular feature of the YouTube channel and you want me to regularly make recap videos, let me know in the comments. And also make sure that you like and subscribe. And once again, check out the website, ongoing history of protestsongs.com. So thanks for watching, and please stay safe.